Hi, I'm Nick, and this is the TBT channel. Today's video is going to be a bit of a ramble. It's going to be based pretty much on opinion rather than fact, and it's been set off by a couple of things that got me thinking. And one of which was an American site that I went on. I was looking for a review on a particular gun. It was a 9mm shotgun. Now, if you've watched my garden gun videos, you'll know that a 9mm shotgun is a Flowbert or rimfire round, very low in power, perfect for rats and mice out to 10 meters. And it was an American site, and the guy said it was suitable for home defense. I don't even know where to start with that mentality. So that kind of got me thinking. And then you go on another forum. No, nothing you guys would have been on, I'm sure. And people in the UK start talking about what they keep for defence. And there was a photo of this bedside table, and the leg of this bedside table was a baseball bat. No, officer, honestly, it's just a table. And it kind of got me thinking. Now, the reason, if I come across as negative, forgive me. I don't see a need in Europe for much in the way of home defence or self-defence, unless you live in the ghetto of Tunbridge Wells. You know, you're pretty safe most of the time. But these things get out there, and some of these things worry me. So I thought I'd just have a bit of a waffle about it. Going back to self-defence now, if we go back in time, self-defence in the late 1800s would have been, I mean, people would carry a kosh. Koshes were popular, blackjacks, things like that, a length of, it could have been rubber in the later days, but earlier it would have been a leather cylinder with sand and or lead shot in it to bop people around the noggin with. Have at you, sir, or perhaps a sword stick. You know, that's quite a sophisticated form of self-defense. But then guns came along, and this is the POS, piece of shit. Would have been what could have been carried by a gentleman or a lady. They were called sometimes a muff pistol, which indicates where they were hidden. That's right, in the fur round things that the lady would put their hands in, the muff. That muff. And they could keep it in there, and if somebody go away, bang, shoot him. Now, they weren't dangerous, as in they were unlikely to kill you immediately, but this was before antibiotics, and more people would die of infection than they would from the actual gunshot. So that was where the threat of that came. It was, well, if I get shot with that, you know, I might not die now, but I'm going to get an infection and die from that. So that kind of progressed onto your black powder revolvers, which were used mainly in the West, because that's quite a cumbersome thing to keep in one's pocket. A gentleman wouldn't carry that. It requires a holster. That's a bit too brash. But we did have little pocket revolvers like that. Again, not enough necessarily to kill somebody, but it was, that's not going to kill me. Yeah, but it's going to bloody hurt. So it would certainly put you off. And then I suppose the British gentleman's pocket gun was the Mark III, Webley Mark III pocket. It was small enough for a pocket. It's this kind of thing that, this kind of bulldog design that was made famous in the Sherlock Holmes books. That's what Watson would have carried, with something looking very similar to this. So that's all well, good and groovy. But nowadays, in the civilized world, we don't need to carry a gun for defence outside. But what got me thinking were these videos about people defending the home. Now, that's another matter entirely. I mean, the real crux of this, to me, is anything that you try and use to defend yourself that you are not trained in is going to be taken off of you and used on you. And that's a theme that comes up again and again and again. It's like people say, "Oh, I've got a knife. Oh, knife. We're going to stab you." Now, you have to be very close to do that. and it isn't going to stop people immediately. The threat may stop them, but if they call you bluff, what the hell are you going to do? If somebody breaking in your house, they might be crazed on drugs or something, or just, they're not really going to slow down. Same goes for a taser. You have to be very, very close to somebody to use something like that. And if they take it off of you, they're going to do to you with it what you were trying to do to them. And that's just the way of it. And there is a fad. Now, this is one of the things, okay? There was the 9mm shotgun in America being proposed as ideal for home defense. We're going to get on to ideal for home defense in a bit. If you feel the need for home defense and if you're in a country where that is a possibility. But in the UK, we've got air guns, or if it's not even an air gun, it could be a blank fire. Now, I've got a couple of blank firers here, or replicas or blank firers or whatever. I don't know if you've seen Snatch. Replicas? Oh, I've got some extra loud blanks just in case. Now, what are you going to do with a replica air gun? A replica pistol. You might scare somebody. You might make it go bang. But it's not going to stop them if they're determined, is it now? It's a silly thing. And likewise with air pistols that are replicas. Now, you could put pellets in that. Well, that's just going to piss them off, An air pistol is not a suitable tool for trying to stop somebody who's broken into your house and is determined to rob you. Your best deterrent really is lock yourself in a room and call the police and barricade the door. But on blank firers, I don't even know why or how I've got blank firers. I can't remember. I think that one came from my mate Dave, who died last year. That was in his part of his stuff, and he had some. Now these are CS blanks, perfectly legal here. They fire. Well, it's not CS gas. It's kind of, I don't know, pepper powder or whatever is inside there. Somebody comes at you, go in his face with that. It's going to piss him off. And another thing you can do with these, you can put a pyrotechnic cup onto the front of that, and you get these rubber balls, and you put that in there, and somebody comes in, you can fire it, it's going to go bang, and the rubber ball's going to boing off their head. I wonder how far the medics have had to pull one of these out from somebody's rectum in the past. I wonder, because that's the only thing that's going to happen if you do that to somebody. It's the same with these stupid bloody CO2 things. There's the pistol one, I think. They fire these balls, and there's one that looks like a sawn-off shotgun and stuff like that. Now, somebody I know had one for sale, and he was going to be meeting up with me, and I was going to buy it off of him because he didn't want it anymore, but apparently he was too busy soaping up men's bottoms or something, so we never got to meet up. But I just wanted it to test it, because I wanted to get Karen to shoot me with this, because the pistol one's 11 joules, which is about 8 foot-pound, and I think the double-barrel shotgun one is 16 joules, which is around 12 foot-pounds. But I think if you've got a coat on, a heavyish jacket, all you're going to do is upset people, and again, they're going to push it up your bottom. So I don't know, this is coming across very negative, and I don't mean to come across negative, but honestly, if somebody breaks into your house, get out your house or call the police, barricade the door, something like that. A dog is a better deterrent than any of that cack. If you're in a country where you are allowed access to firearms and you are allowed to use them for home defense, and most countries, you can use reasonable force to defend your house, your property. Well, sometimes it's your house and your property. Other countries, if you're in reasonable fear for yours or your family's safety, you use appropriate force, and sometimes that appropriate force could be up to and including lethal force. And in America, for example, the most common, the most popularly sold gun, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong in comments, but it is your AR-15. Now, we all know the phrase, perfect for home defense, and that is used by a lot of stores for this, and I am going to say I don't believe that. I don't think a high-powered 223 cartridge is perfect for home defense. If you look at most modern homes, I'm pretty safe in saying, I think most modern homes in most countries, they're built out of stud walls. So an intruder comes into your house and you've got one of these, say you shoot him, okay, or you shoot at him. You've got a bullet, solid bullet, flying out of here at 3,500 feet a second. It's going to go, if it hits him, it's going to go through him. It's going to go through the wall behind him, through whoever's in that room that was in the wall behind him, through the next wall, out into the street, and through whoever's in the street. It's too much, far too much. And likewise, pistols. I mean, pistols are great, don't get me wrong. But with solid bullets, they're going to go through things. And if they go through things and you've got stud walls, plasterboard, I don't know what do they call it in America? I can't remember. But you're shooting at Mr. Bad Person who's got into your house. I get that. I understand why you're doing that, because he's probably, let's face it, if you're in America, he's probably got a gun. You wouldn't bother breaking into somebody's house if you didn't have one. So obviously you need one to defend yourself from the guy with the gun. It's a circular problem. But if you miss him or it passes through him, it's also going to pass through the wall. And if he's stood in front of the wall with your kids on the other side of that wall, you could be causing a problem. So I don't think they are the answer either. So that really leaves us, if we're honest, with a shotgun. Now, this is a 12-bore pump action. What do we say about a 12-bore pump action? Where's the release? Where is it? There it is. Show it's empty. It's not going to pass through somebody. It's not very likely to pass through a plasterboard wall with any great force if you're using shot. If you're using birdshot, it's going to make a hell of a mess. And you have to be pretty committed, I think, to the cause to shoot somebody with a 12-bore shotgun, because it's going to make a mess and there ain't no coming back from that. You've got to be. Yeah. You've got to be ready to do it. And that's kind of my thing. I don't think here in, I don't want to say the civilized world, because that's wrong, that's insulting. The more mature, I don't know, what is it? What do you call it when you have a civilization that doesn't rely on shooting each other for safety? That's what we've got here. In America, you have to have a gun because everybody else has got a gun. That's the problem. You need a gun to protect yourself from the people with the gun. But when you're in a place without guns, threatening somebody with this should see them running. God forbid you should ever actually have to use it. That would be bloody terrible. But I don't know where I'm going with this. It's probably not going to go out because it's a very, very difficult subject, and one that I don't think there is actually an answer to. And I don't think anything I've got on the table here is an answer to the issue. I've got my defence, apart from living in rural France, where the chances of anybody ever trying to get into my house are minimal, but we are in rural France, so it's never a impossibility. I've got a Chihuahua crossed with a bulldog, Tinkerbell, like that she is. Now there's this Buddhist problem. If a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody there to hear it, a Chihuahua 500 miles away will bark, and that is true. She hears everything. Our front gate is 50 metres from our front door, and we've got double glazing. Somebody comes in through the gate, walks down a gravel drive, she's barking immediately. And that's great, but she's only a Chihuahua French dog cross. But then we've got Henry. You'll have met Henry. He's been in a couple of videos and comes to get to my lap. He's an American foxhound. He's a hound. And when he starts, it's like the hound of the bloody Baskervilles. And I think it's going to be a particularly brave type of burglar that's going to hear that blood-curdling howl and then decide to try and get in the house. And if they did, at that point, try and get into the house, finding themselves face to face with a shotgun might put them off. But I don't know. So please don't try and defend yourselves or your house with something you don't know how to use, or believe that you're going to be able to if you have no training, because you are likely to have whatever it is removed from you and used in you or inserted into you. So keep your baseball bats lubed. I'll speak to you all next time. Please like, subscribe, hit notifications. Sorry for being so down in this one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.